We bought a house. Which means through pandemic, evacuation, and abandoning the old one, I finally have a new shop space. My first project is refurbishing this hand-me-down circa 1985 JJ8 jet jointer. To kick things off, I had to see if I needed to become a small motors mechanic. So after testing the kinetic elements to see if they had freedom of movement, I tried to turn the thing on. It worked. This job just got a lot easier. I started by disassembling the tabletop of the machine from top to bottom, removing the broken cutter guard, the fence, carriage and carriage table, the rusted table lock bolts, opposing cutterhead table, the tired belts, and very rusty cutterhead. After clearing the literal rat's nest from the dust collection chamber, I scrubbed the first layer of rust and 30 years of grime from the entire machine. After getting the main machine in better shape, I set about the same task on the disassembled parts. Scrubbing and using a de-ruster gel to get them back into fighting shape. cutterhead needed 2 derusting bads. The first to remove enough rust to loosen the bolts that hold the housing and knives in place, and the second to remove all the remaining rust from the freshly freed components. With the cutterhead all derusted, I rinsed with water, used a compressor to dry, and ran the blades over my great-grandfather's Indian oil stone a few times to try and tidy up the edges. Not sure exactly how successful I was, but I think new blades are in my near future. With the pieces of the cutterhead ready, I turned to the task of really breaking down the rust on the table. After letting the chemicals do their work, I used an orbital sander with tiered grits to remove the pocks and imperfections left behind. Doing the same for all the disassembled surfaces as well. Once I could see my reflection in the tabletop, I taped off the sanded surfaces, bagged up the table adjusters and power switch, and painted a quick top coat on the rest of the machine to try and help mitigate any further rust damage. Then applied and buffed a layer of Johnson's wax to butter up the tabletop. Looks like it'll do. With everything tidied up and refinished, I began to reassemble. Greasing a few of the kinetic pieces where necessary. Replacing the tired belts. reseating the blades, reinstalling the fence and carriage components, then dialing in the blades and tabletop. Finally, giving her a whirl. To say I'm over the moon excited to have this level of tool working in my shop would be an understatement. Next time, I continue to rebuild my woodshop and tackle the restoration of a hand-me-down 15-inch jet planer. Until then.